More than 1 year has passed since the savage murder of Reza Barati, an Iranian asylum seeker imprisoned in an Australian detention centre in Papua New Guinea. On that night, security guards, police and others cowardly ambushed asylum seekers within the centre, using weapons to crush the bones of many and any hope of a future for one. No convictions have been made regarding Reza's murder, and without closure, all his family back in Iran can do is mourn. In Sydney, Australia today, thousands took to the CBD, choosing different three-word slogans to that of the current federal government's Stop the Boat mantra.
Imagine if we wound back time to the Tampa. Imagine if one of our political leaders had decided to just on their own choose 3 different words. Imagine if they'd said, "We can help." Imagine if they'd said, come be safe. Imagine if they said, "Welcome to Australia." How different this would be.
The several thousand strong pro-refugee crowd called for an end to offshore and onshore detention centres, scrapping of temporary protection visas, an end to Islamophobia, and a change of governments, amongst other things.
You've got people that are standing here whinging about the economy. Well, there wouldn't be one without people in the first place. These people have had the worst kinds of things happen to them, beaten on a daily or weekly basis, died in jail, moving on boats, getting moved around all around the country because nobody else wants them, and they're just trying to live a life that we have. All you privileged bastards out there, people that are denying the rights of every human being. And it's an absolute disgrace. I am very, very proud to be a person that stands in solidarity against any form of racism, particularly those seeking asylum, because at least I've got a country here to come back to. They've got nothing.
A number of speakers talked of the experiences of those who were imprisoned in Australia's detention centres, including the harrowing attack against a group of Muslims in Burma, a country where Muslims have experienced genocide by anti-Islam mobs.
In November 2013, I went with Amnesty International to investigate human rights abuses at the Manus Island Detention Centre. There, I met a young Muslim man from Burma, one of around, at the time, 1,100 people detained on Manus Island for trying to seek safety in Australia. He told us that 2 years ago in his life, he and his father were travelling to the city of Yangon in Burma. On their way, a crowd of 300 people blocked the road. They took all of the Muslims from the bus and made them lay on the ground. They began to beat his father. His father shouted to him to run away, and he did. He was pursued by a man on a motorbike who attacked him with a large stick, damaging his knee badly. The man said to him, "This is our country, not your country." He managed to escape though, and made it home. He waited the rest of the day for his father to return, but he didn't. He learned that later that day, his father had been killed, along with all the other people who had been pulled from the bus. His mother ordered him to leave.
Australian Muslims are also experiencing increased public acts of Islamophobia, starting with the country's Prime Minister.
Now, I've said before that I find it a fairly confronting form of attire. Frankly, I wish it was not worn.
In 2015, it's distressing that we are in a country where women do not feel safe to leave their homes. We are in a country in 2015 where Australian Muslim women do not feel safe enough to partake in some of the amazing things that our country has to offer. They are making the choice to withdraw from social situations because they are fearful of what may happen to them and their children. We have had children who have witnessed their mothers' scarves being ripped off, their mothers being pushed to the ground, their bones have been broken. We have seen children who have witnessed their mothers having hot coffee thrown in their faces, being intimidated and harassed on the streets. We have seen numerous cases of Islamophobia. It is completely distressing to see not only the politicisation of refugees in this country, but the politicisation of Australian Muslim women.
The source of that fear was just across the road from the refugee rally, as a small group of anti-immigration protesters chanted slogans fitting of a Tony Abbott election campaign.
Train is coming, piss off now! Train is coming, piss off now! Train is coming, piss off now!
Among the opposition protesters were those who looked ironically out of place.
You're going back! Turn back! You're going back! Turn back! You're going back! Turn back!
The thousands who came in solidarity with multiculturalism and justice left the racists behind, projecting echoes of support for the most vulnerable in the world.
Defending the rights of refugees and all Australians, because refugees are in the concentration camps now. But once you build concentration camps, you get a bit of mission creep. Tony loves mission creep, and there's no saying that we won't end up in the concentration camps 5 or 10 years from now.
We have no right to say no to the refugees, the most marginalised people in the world. I think a government is judged by how they treat the marginalised in their society, and if that's the case, then history will look very disfavourably against Australia and our government.
Some say that these protests all fall on deaf ears. However, this is what like-minded people said about the anti-apartheid movement, the women's rights movement, and to individuals such as Malcolm X, Eddie Mabo, and Sayed Hassan Nasrallah. As asylum seekers and refugees in Australian-run detention camps continue to experience sexual assault, murder, and mental torture, one of their only hopes left is the people here today. Reporting for Arifkhanmedia.